Hello and welcome to all parents of our Year 11 students. My name is Mr. Fitzgerald and I am the head of Year 11, and this presentation video is in place of our usual invitation into college, but with the aim of providing you with as much information and guidance about your child's learning and welfare provision for this academic year. I am joined in this presentation by Mrs. Humphreys, our academic coordinator, who will be outlining some tips and ideas on maintaining well-being and coping strategies. By Mrs. White, Assistant Head Teacher for English, Mr. Gray, Assistant Head Teacher for Maths, Mrs. Santoro, Assistant Head Teacher for Science, and Mrs. Hampson, Subject Leader for RE, who will all be outlining plans in their subjects and how you can support your child with their studies. Most students in Year 11 have made a positive start to the year in our Year 11 bubble, with a real appetite for learning. Year 11 is situated in Upper B and Upper C hubs, where the majority of their learning takes place for the foreseeable future. This has meant limited movement for the year group around the college and means that as little time as possible should be lost between lessons as well as break time and lunchtime. The Year 11s are also supported in our bubble by a highly skilled and very focused team comprising of Mr. Perkin, Assistant Head Teacher, Mr. Boyle, Pastoral Coordinator, and 2 support staff with Mrs. Kane and Miss Shepherd. Our aim in the first 3 weeks has been to get all students back into their learning in the most safe and secure way as possible, checking on them each day to ensure they are making. So where are we now? Well, all subjects have adapted their teaching in line with adjustments that have been confirmed by Ofqual and the awarding bodies. All subjects have adapted their teaching in order to identify and fill or address gaps in learning as rapidly as possible. Teacher feedback will help your child make as rapid progress as possible. All students are being set homework assignments on Microsoft Teams by their subject teacher using new class teams to complement their learning in lessons. Any students isolating at home are being set weekly lesson assignments in line with preset timetable published in advance. Feedback will also be provided to your child once they have submit their work on Teams to their teacher. Pupils are expected to use any online services as guided by their subject teachers to supplement their learning. Attendance to college and engagement with any online teaching is crucial to your child's progress and success over the coming months. And one of the first questions colleges ask the school is about your child's attendance and punctuality to school. All pupils will have a one-to-one meeting with members of Newman's senior leadership team or the Year 11 team, based on their current academic progress and position to support them on their journey throughout this term. Outcomes of these may inform conversations with parents and creation of an academic support plan if needed. Subjects will have the opportunity to provide sessions to targeted pupils based on outcomes from teaching and learning in lessons, as well as assessments and assignments. These will start with English and Maths initially, and then other subjects will follow when we know our capacity we can deliver to. Some of this may need to take place online over Teams. The college will consider and attempt to use any tutoring opportunities that arise from government funding. Mock exams have been planned this year for December. Results of these will be in January and shared with parents at this time. This is a great opportunity for pupils to show off all the revision and knowledge they have and how committed they are to doing well for the real GCSEs. As last year's Year 11 pupils will tell you, these mock exams are very important, so please check that your child is revising for these. All students who have not yet received a careers interview will have one facilitated using Microsoft Teams and a hot desk facility in Upper C PPA room linked to Joanna Whitehead in the careers office. These will take place on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursday. All students will receive a session on completing their post-16 progression application and writing of a personal statement. Form tutors will disseminate any information coming into the college from post-16 providers. Pupils must check their email. For the next 2 slides, I'm going to talk to you about the pastoral support Newman College has to offer. I have to start by saying how lucky I am with the Year 11 team that has been created for your child. Each member gives 100% each day and makes sure that all issues, questions and queries from yourselves and students are answered and addressed as quickly as we can. Newman College and the Year 11 team have expectations of each child that enters Newman College. Your child will most definitely be aware and have seen the poster on the left-hand side of this slide, the Newman Way. These are expectations of each individual student. The school rule, which is do as you are asked by the adult, and these are followed by the 4 R's. The 4 R's have been presented in a way that makes it easy for all to understand, articulate, and apply, and these are now used in responsibility points, which you will have been familiar with in the past, being known as behaviour points. So we'll start with the right place. We expect all pupils to be in school every day, and the doors are open for all Year 11s at 8:30 a.m. They are then greeted and welcomed warmly. Pupils then are escorted to form rooms for a prompt start at 8:45 a.m. Pupils are then greeted by form tutors, and they allow pupils to get ready for the day ahead. The right time. This is where we focus on punctuality to each lesson. As I've mentioned before, pupils have very small areas to walk in the school building. This allows each pupil to have even more time in the classroom. Even at breaks and lunch times, pupils have a short walk to pick up food and socialise in the central forum and outside if they wish to. The right thing. The right thing focuses on the school rule of doing what you are asked by the adult the first time. This is also where we like to see good manners and respect to all. We see this a lot in the mornings when your child is welcomed into the building, in lessons and throughout the day. School uniform is also an important factor every day your child is at Newman. Wearing the correct uniform alleviates any seemingly negative conversations with students and allows everyone to concentrate on getting students through the GCSE year. Can I please ask that you make sure that your child has a face mask every day, and if you are able to give them some spares to keep in their bag. This helps when checking uniform each morning and reduces the chances of the Year 11 team ringing about incorrect uniform. And finally, the right attitude. We ask students to respond to all by being polite and kind to others, by living out our Catholic ethos and being more like Jesus in all that we do, by treating others as we would like to be treated, and loving our neighbour. We also remind students that all staff are here for them, that we care for them and only want the best for your child. We do ask for your continued support with all of this, especially if your child does not follow the school rules or does not follow the 4 R's. Teachers of your child will always keep you updated, as well as form tutors, on what is going on, as well as praising your child in some of the amazing things that I know that they will do. I am now going to move on to my final slide of pastoral support. I stand by completely what I believe is vital for all Year 11 students. This is the pyramid of success. There could have been so many elements I could have added in here, but I wanted to strip it back and show you how important this is. Attendance has always been important and is now more than ever vital. This could be in the college building or on Microsoft Teams, which might be out of yours and your child's hands. We at Newman College have made sure that all provision online is worthwhile and will help each student to achieve their potential or even exceed beyond this. I have already mentioned about behaviour and how important it is to follow the school rules and listen to all adults. If pupils are behaving well and working hard, then this ultimately means that they are attending college in person or virtually, which allows them to reach the top of the pyramid and achieve all they can and wish to be. I have added in some words on the right-hand side, which hopefully you'll be able to pass on to your child in a bit more detail. It's all about grit and determination at this point, and not to give up. Yes, it is hard, and probably harder for this year group than previous years. They need to put in the effort for the next few months. We're already at the halfway point of the first academic half term. The attitude that they have will be so important and connects the 4 R's previously mentioned. Selfishness. It may seem like a weird word to use, but students should be selfish of each moment they have in the school building and take as much information and knowledge passed on by each teacher every single day. Students should be ambitious and absolutely believe that they can be the best that they can be. These words will probably need to be explained by yourselves, and I ask that you remind them over and over again not to give up, and help build some of that confidence at home, as we will continue to do in school. Your role as a parent is so important this year. There has been so much research into parental influences. As it says at the bottom of the slide, parents are a major influence on a child's success in life. While the quality of schools and the nature of the child's peer group matter significantly, it is from the home that the young people derive lasting effects on their character, mindset, and attainment. Parental engagement in the educational development of the children improves attainment more than any other significant factor. One of the questions that I seem to get every single year, especially at parents' evening, is, how can I help my child? Well, it's all about making sure that revision has started now. Having daily conversations about school is also very important. Asking what your child has been learning in lessons is also vital. Asking them to tell you certain topics and ask, what does this mean, or how does so-and-so work, can also help in these instances. Your child may even teach you a new topic. By passing that information on to you, they are also learning at the same time. I'm going to leave it here and let other brilliant staff tell you more information.
When speaking to Year 11s, these are the words they associate most with this year. The bigger the word, the more it was suggested, but how do we combat these emotions? We would like to think that these feelings just go away with time, but this is simply not the case with most. These emotions stay with us until we are older in all occurrences in life. What matters is how we handle them and how we cope. Feelings should not be avoided. Practicing mindfulness is an excellent way to gather our thoughts. The Headspace app is a great tool in order to focus on mindfulness and provides tips and tricks on how to achieve a stronger mental health. So what can we do? As a school, we have a strong support team around all year groups, but especially for the Year 11 students. We have a mix of female and male members of staff, so students have a choice of who they speak to, depending on who they feel comfortable with. Although speaking for the first time is often difficult and the students can feel awkward, that's why we have a dedicated team manning the Here For You email address, where students can send an email to begin that awkward conversation, and a member of staff will talk to them on their own, away from peers, broaching that difficult conversation. Our Year 11 staff are highly experienced. Some are trained in mental health awareness and first aid. There isn't a great deal they haven't heard, from worrying to embarrassing, so please don't worry about them being shocked. They just want to help. One of the most beneficial and effective ways to maintain a positive mental well-being is to exercise. Exercise releases the feel-good brain chemicals serotonin and dopamine to create a happy and healthier mind. Try to arrange it with friends, timetable it into the revision timetable so it becomes part of the daily routine. When feeling stressed or anxious, it causes the brain to slow down and makes it more difficult to process information. To combat this, it can be as simple as going for a walk to clear your head. Eating well. Our young people will be rolling their eyes, but eating well and healthy, ensuring a good intake of vitamin D, iron and calcium is imperative. Students should not skip breakfast, aim to drink at least 6 glasses of water a day, avoiding energy drinks as these will have a negative impact on sleep pattern, which is also necessary for positive well-being. Sleeping well, 8 to 9 hours is the recommended time for young people. Screen time before bed can negatively impact any well-being. Further information and details on helpful apps can be found on pages 123 to 125 of your child's planner. If you need further information or are concerned about your child's well-being, please do not hesitate to get in touch with one of your Year 11 team.
Hi, this is Mrs. White, Head of English. I'd like to take you through what Year 11 will be doing this year. As you know, due to the school closure and uncertainties over exams, we did not enter Year 10s for any English Literature exams last year. This means that they have 2 GCSEs to complete. The plan on the slide for English Literature shows the intention to spend time focusing on each set text within the specification. However, the English Literature exam has been amended by Ofqual so that we are able to drop one set text, and a decision will be made on that this week. This will result in either A Christmas Carol or the poetry anthology not being taught in class, and you will be informed of this decision. The plan will be amended when that decision is made. In the literature classes, 2 lessons a week, pupils will revise plot, characters, themes, and language of the set text that they worked on last year, and focusing on developing their essay writing skills and enhancing their subject knowledge. We want to help them build up those skills which can be transferred from one text to another. GCSE English Language, on the right-hand side of the slide, is split into 2 papers. Paper 1, Explorations in Creative Reading and Writing, focuses on fiction. Pupils read and analyse an extract from a novel in Section A and are then asked to write their own story or description in Section B. Paper 2, Writers' Viewpoints and Perspectives, focuses on non-fiction. Pupils read, analyse and compare 2 non-fiction extracts, one of which is from the 19th century in Section A, and are then asked to write a text expressing their opinion on a given topic in Section B. This year we have amended the schemes of learning for both language and literature to take into account gaps in learning caused by the COVID absences, and the lessons focus heavily on exam technique, so pupils can build up effective strategies and routines to give them confidence to tackle both the set texts within English literature and any unseen text in English language. Many pupils say that they cannot revise for English. This is not true. All pupils need to go over their work, but they have to do it in the right way. This slide is a very busy slide, and I don't propose to read all of it, but it is full of really specific guidance for pupils to help them succeed in English. It's taken from the book shown in the bottom left-hand corner of the slide, and I'll just take you through the main points. In lessons, we start with retrieval practice every day, building up long-term memory. This can be done easily at home. Notes are essential for good revision. Now that pupils have limited books in school, it is even more important that they organise their notes at home using the internet and revision guides to deepen their knowledge. Quotes are essential for successful analysis, and especially for the higher grades. Pupils must learn quotes during the year so that they have them at their fingertips when writing essays. In addition, they need to practice exploding quotes, which means analysing them in depth using mind maps, thinking about the connotations of the words the writer has used, and thinking about the effect on the reader. Context is really important, so pupils can learn about the time period that the text is set. This will then feed into their understanding of unseen texts in the language paper. Finally, while we spend time in class on essay writing, nothing beats practicing these skills at home on a regular basis. We know that this is a difficult time, but our children's education is so important. Given the current situation, we need to work together to enable them to succeed. If you have any questions about English, please do not hesitate to contact me or your child's English teacher. Thank you.
Hi, it's Mr. Gray from the Maths Department. I'm just going to give you a quick update of what we're looking to with maths this year. If there's any questions, because there is a lot more information I can give you, I'm going to give my email address at the end. Please don't hesitate to get in touch or give us a ring and I'll get back to you within 48 hours. I'm going to start with the exam board. We're going with OCR this year. We have done for the past 3 years. It consists of 3 exam papers. It's 1 non-calculator and 2 calculator papers. Each paper has equal weighting, and they test the whole scheme of work. So there is not different papers that test different things. Every topic could be on every paper. Because of there being 2 exam papers with a calculator, it's really essential that every pupil gets a calculator. We are selling calculators for £5 each. But we'd really appreciate it if every child could turn up to every lesson with a calculator. If this is going to be an issue, please get in touch and we can support wherever necessary. We're going to try and look to be flexible with our groupings. I don't want people to feel as though if they move sets within a year, that is either a positive or a negative. What we're going to be looking for is to best solve any problems that the pupils have. We want to support every pupil individually, and this might mean looking at a variety of ways of supporting them. And that could be changing the class teacher, changing the tier of entry, or just making sure that they are supported to do the best that they possibly can. We will make a final decision on tier of entry by February, and this will all be done based upon what we believe is the best opportunity for the pupil to be successful within their maths exam. For the curriculum this year, we're going to follow a DTT process that will run every 4 weeks. That will start at the testing phase, where we will diagnose people's strengths and weaknesses. They will receive a QLA that will look like the following. We will then have to put therapy in place for anything that they have struggled with or had no idea how to do. The way we will do this is through identifying amber sections, so areas of work where they've made a good start but not quite completed it, through Hegarty Maths and through Pinpoint. So this will identify key areas for the individual pupil for what they have struggled with, and we will make sure they are given work with supporting resources to be able to complete that at home. Anything red will be the class teacher's requirement to fill in during that 4 weeks. So we're making the assumption that those amber topic areas pupils are able to make their own adjustments to that, and we'll give them the resources to be able to do that. Whereas those topics that pupils have got no marks on will be the topic areas that teachers will focus on for those 4 weeks. During that 4-week cycle, everything will be based upon individual pupils and what they need to make sure they make progress. We're going away from the idea of pupils doing any work that they've already covered and have already been successful with in an exam paper. At the end of that cycle, we go back to the beginning of the cycle again, so we will retest and we will follow the process again. As we go through the year, this will become different papers, and we'll make sure we see the whole of the curriculum wherever possible. I do want to stress, pupils do not need to be getting 100% on exams, and we are not wanting to put pressure on pupils by onerously testing them. What we are wanting to do is take away the stress of the test and make them aware that it's for their benefit, and to make sure that we can make them comfortable with the process. We don't want them to feel like it is constantly a cycle of just being hammered with things that they can't do. We are looking for those successes and looking for them to be shared with themselves and other pupils. Staff are going to be available a number of times, and we are going to look at doing different interventions after school. So please keep an eye out for those messages that will go home. I do expect there'll be more questions, so please don't hesitate to email me. My email address is s.gray, Gray, @newmanrc.oldham.sch.uk, and I look forward to receiving questions, and I'll get back to you within 48 hours. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Mrs. Santoro and I am the Assistant Head Teacher responsible for Science here at Newman College. Just wanted to give you a quick update first of all about our curriculum for this year. So just as a reminder, most of our students, most of your children will be following the combined science route, which leads to 2 GCSEs in science. Around 15% of the cohort follow the separate sciences, which leads to 3 GCSEs. So first of all, it's important that the children know what exactly it is that they're doing. For both routes, we do follow the AQA specification. So if you wanted information online, an AQA is rather useful because you can get both the specification, so the list of everything they're doing, plus you can get past exam papers. It's just important that you know that for combined science, we follow the synergy route, which would be code 8465, and for separate, it is the GCSE biology, chemistry and physics, and there's only one version of that available. I just wanted to go back and highlight again though the fact that our combined science route actually leads to 2 GCSEs in the subject, and so when the children are setting up their revision timetables, it's important that they devote 2 slots to those GCSEs, because there's twice the amount of stuff that they're going to need to remember, and there's going to be twice the amount of exam papers in terms of time as there would be for a single GCSE. And in the case of the separate scientists, it's 3 GCSEs. In terms of amendments to the GCSEs for this current year 11, the only thing that has changed for them is that the children themselves do not physically need to take part in required practicals. So there's a list of practical activities that our students need to know about and indeed will be examined on. What is now allowed is that we can demonstrate those practical activities, or we can show them video clips online. The children themselves do not have to have completed every single required practical themselves. But they do need to know about them, they do need to know about everyone, and they do need to be able to answer questions on them. In terms of the curriculum then, and coming back, we did continue to set work over teams, continuing to teach the science curriculum, both for combined and the separate sciences. On our return, we have picked up on looking at some of the absolute basics of understanding of science, so making sure that those big ideas have been consolidated again in the classroom. And staff have been setting some little quizzes, utilising the forms on Microsoft Teams, in order to get some really quick feedback from the students about what they know and what they don't know, and it's enabling our staff to just keep changing what they're about to teach and changing where they're up to respond to what the children have learned in the previous lesson. So you may note that there is an increase in the amount of work that's being set on Microsoft Teams from the science department, but that is the reason for it. So what's the best way to support our learners for their science GCSE? Well, the first port of call would be Microsoft Teams, as I've just explained. You should be seeing regular, and by regular I mean at least weekly, assignments being set by staff for our learners, in order for us to continually assess what they know and what they need to know. We'll also be using Teams for homework and for any links to other resources that the children need to access. So that would definitely be the first place, the first port of call. And if I can ask that you encourage all of our learners to complete any assignments that have been set there. They do tend to be fairly quick, the ones that we're setting at the moment, but it gives us so much information to target and to personalise the lessons that are coming up. The next thing I would suggest is to look at the knowledge organisers. We've been utilising knowledge organisers for some time now, and they've all been refreshed over the summer. A knowledge organiser is the absolute basics within a unit that the students need to know in terms of knowledge and in terms of skills and required practicals. These are shared with all learners at the start of every unit. However, I've asked staff to put together a pack of all of the knowledge organisers for Year 10 and Year 11 so that children can access these all together in one place. That way they're a good starting point for a revision resource. The next place I would suggest you check would be BBC Bite Size, particularly for our combined students. BBC Bite Size again has had a big overhaul over the summer, and it really is an excellent resource for sciences. So for combined science, if the children select AQA and then combined and then synergy, the resources are tailored to the synergy route, which BBC Bite Size are one of the only providers who've actually done that it's tailored for that route, for that exam board. So it goes through the knowledge required, there might be some little video clips, and then it will go through some questions, exam style, starting from multi-choice and getting a little bit more difficult. So it really is a great resource, particularly for our combined science students. Seneca Learning is another resource that we've used in science for a couple of years now, but the college have invested in a version that's even better than we've used before. So it's online, it's a bank of questions, but it learns from what the students know and from their correct answers, and more importantly from their incorrect answers, and keeps challenging in those areas where students have got things wrong. Constantly revisits stuff they've done before. So it really is a great revision tool, and I would expect that you should see some Seneca Learning assignments set by science teachers for students in their care. The last two, Free Science Lessons and Cognito, are both based on YouTube. Free Science Lessons are the video clips made by a teacher local in Oldham, and both of them have little videos you can watch, and the Free Science Lessons in particular are really useful for the required practical activities. Now that the children may not actually get hands-on and doing them in the classroom, you can watch a video to see how that required practical should be done. And the gentleman also goes over some of the key questions and key points that should be made from those required practicals. If you've got any questions or require any support regarding your son's or daughter's science, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Hampson here from the RE department. I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking you through the RE GCSE and the revised curriculum for our Year 11 cohort. Firstly, as you can see, there are 3 exam papers for the RE GCSE. Paper 1 is Catholic Christianity, Paper 2 is Judaism, and Paper 3 is Religion, Philosophy and Ethics. The Catholic Christianity paper is worth 50% of the total GCSE grade and is double the amount in terms of content, compared to Papers 2 and 3, which are worth 25% each of the total GCSE grade. The units shown in purple on screen are the units that have already been taught, and the units that are shown in blue on screen are the units that are yet to be taught. From this, you will see that pupils have already studied all content and necessary knowledge for Catholic beliefs and teachings, Catholic practices, Jewish beliefs and teachings, and Jewish practices. Pupils are yet to study Catholic wisdom and authority, Catholic forms of expression, existence of God, and relationships and families. This leads me on to talk you through how we have revised our curriculum offer in RE for our current Year 11s. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you will see a snippet of our RE curriculum plan. This has been created for each month of this academic year and means that pupils will know exactly what they are studying and when they are studying it. All pupils have been given a copy of this to help them. The RE curriculum plan will help pupils to know when each subtopic of the GCSE will be taught in lesson. This allows pupils to see the bigger picture and arrive to their RE lessons prepared for their learning, hopefully having looked at this topic prior to their lesson. The Recovery Curriculum Plan also shows key assessment and key feedback dates. Pupils have already been made aware that the first assessment in RE is next week on Monday. This assessment is on Jewish beliefs and teachings and Jewish practices. It is a 50-minute assessment where pupils will answer 8 separate questions, 4 questions relating to Jewish beliefs and teachings and 4 questions relating to Jewish practices. Finally, the Recovery Curriculum Plan shows where time is allocated for revision in class. At the end of each unit, there is a 1-hour slot to revise the topics covered as part of that unit. It also details how we will spend the time revising once all content has been taught. Finally, I would just like to draw your attention to the bottom left-hand side of the screen. What can pupils use to help them in their learning and for their revision? Here I have listed lots of different tips and resources which will be helpful for pupils to aid them in their revision. You will also see that I've included a snippet of the Religious Studies Catholic Christianity Specification A GCSE Revision Guide. This is available on Amazon. However, a link has been posted to all Year 11 on Microsoft Teams to explain to them how they can purchase this. Finally, if you or any pupils have any questions at all relating to the RE curriculum, their RE lessons, or GCSE content, please do not hesitate to get in touch via email, either to myself or to your child's RE teacher directly. Thank you very much.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Humphreys, Mrs. White, Mr. Gray, Mrs. Santoro, and Mrs. Hampson. We hope this information helps you and your child. We will be distributing a booklet soon with more information from other subjects in the very near future. I would also like to thank you for taking time to watch this. This shows me how committed you are in wanting the best for your child. I hope this presentation allows many questions you may have had being answered, and I know some of you may have some questions we possibly haven't covered. I'm leaving you with the final slide with important emails that you can use to get more information if you need it. We will also be planning on having another presentation in Term 2, after Christmas and after the results of the Year 11 mocks, in case there are any changes or updates needed. But as I said, in the meantime, please contact the most appropriate person from the next slide should you need to gain any further advice or guidance for your child. Thank you again for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I would, if I can, like to end this presentation with a small prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, I do not ask you for anything for me, but you would watch over and protect my child is all I ask of thee. I pray for guidance and support in what is a very stressful and important year for my child. Help them to grow, learn, and never forget the unconditional love I have for them. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Once again, I'd just like to say thank you all, stay safe, and hopefully I'll get to see you all very soon. Thank you.